Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick, how are you guys? It's time for another update on Star Wars Legion because over the past week or so, we've had a few very small little spoilers happen. Nothing that really warranted me making a video on per se, but altogether, there's definitely a lot of things for us to talk about. First of all, most importantly, General Veers has released, just out of the blue for some reason, we weren't sure whether this was going to happen. We had word from some suppliers in various countries that it was coming out on the 28th of April. And then FFG confirmed it on their Facebook page, which made me stand up because basically I wasn't going to believe anything until I saw it from them. And lo and behold, I go into my local gaming store on the 28th and there it is, sitting right there on the shelf. So I've picked up my copy. I hope you guys have too. Before we have a look at the contents in this, I want to have a quick chat about this article just here because we had another reveal article for the Snowtroopers. Now, not much to talk about. Only one more card's been revealed that we didn't previously see. If we scroll down the spread here, we have all these details. And these two weapons here, previously we were only able to see this guy here, but let's just scroll down because we have a nice high-res image of both of these cards. The one we previously saw was the T7 Ion Trooper. Costs 34 points. It is a specialist mini, fires range 1 to 2 with a black and 2 white dice. You have to spend it in order to use it. Add 1 T7 Ion Snowtrooper Mini, Impact 1 and Ion 1. Impact meaning when you're attacking something with armor, you change one of your hits to a crit. Ion 1 means when a vehicle is wounded by this attack, it suffers 1 Ion token. And this is very similar to the MPL 57 Ion Trooper from the Rebel Trooper Squad, which is basically the same, costs a little bit less, it's a Rebel Trooper card obviously, but it fires with 2 red dice at range 1 to 3. And I think this really goes to highlight exactly what the Snowtroopers are doing as opposed to other squads. They move slowly, they attack efficiently, but they do not have the best reach. Apart from their standard weapon, which is range 1 to 3, but both these specialist weapons do not favour range. And the idea of these guys seems to be, from my opinion anyway, that they're meant to do a lot of damage at very close range. It's a very sort of high risk, high reward. Similar to what Vader does. I look at these guys and think they're kind of a Vader light kind of approach. In that they attack very efficiently. They obviously have steady, so they can take a free attack after they move. And they favour these weapons that are going to punch really hard if you get up close. The other weapon, which we did not see last time, was the Flamethrower. It costs 20 points, another specialist mini. Adds a Flame Trooper mini. And this is a black dice at range 1, or at least it looks like it's a black dice, but the text actually says, blast, ignore cover, and spray. Add this weapon's dice to the attack pool 1 time for each mini in the defending unit, which is line of sight, is not blocked. Which means it actually gets more powerful the more minis you're fighting against. So against bikes and stuff like that, you'll get a couple of dice. It's not so great, but what this excels against is other troopers. And we've seen this already. It's already a card on the AT-RT, the baby chicken for the Rebel Alliance. Does a very similar thing. What's interesting about it this time is it's on a platform, it's on a frame, if you will, that moves very slowly, but does attack very efficiently. And again, it's all about this very high risk, high reward kind of strategy where the Snowtroopers want to move slowly. But what I predict these guys are going to be really good at is taking and holding command points. They're not going to be great at getting to command points and sort of hedging their bets and having to get between command points during a game. But if you just walk them towards a command point, very much like Vader, they're going to carve a path, get there, and hold it because their close range weaponry is very, very potent. And these cards just go further to show that. Now, General Veers. We have the mini here itself. Nothing too amazing to look at on this camera anyway. I'm going to take some high-res shots, pop it right there for you guys to see. The sculpt looks really nice, as all of these have so far. One thing I will comment on is the pose. Some of you guys have posted, and I completely agree, that the pose isn't really anything special. It's not very, you know, commandery or regal or anything you kind of associate with General Veers. I think a more interesting pose could have been cool, but the sculpt's nice nonetheless, so I'm not going to complain there. But what I really want to talk about is these cards here, because on the spread of General Veers, which again I'll put right here for you guys to see, we previously saw Commanding Presence, costs 10 points, is a commander upgrade. When issuing orders, you may issue orders at range 4. We also had a Steam Leader, adds a nice new keyword to the game in Guardian 1, which allows your friendly trooper units to protect your leader. I'll post the card up here so you guys can see that. I've talked about this several times before, so I'm not going to go into it in this video. But what I do want to talk about is this card here, Environmental Gear, which was not previously revealed. Now, just assessing the card as how it is, it's a tech upgrade, costs 3 points, you gain Unhindered, which means you ignore the effects of difficult terrain, which seems really good. It seems kind of like the utility that Grappling Hooks is offering, except something that's a bit more applicable. Difficult terrain can be a bit of a pain if you're trying to get to command points, and just 3 points on your regular trooper squads, which this can go on, seems like it's going to be very effective. What I'm concerned about, what I have to voice my criticism of here is the fact that this card comes in a commander pack, something you're only ever going to buy one of, and you get one copy of the card. It might come in the Snowtrooper pack. I mean, Environmental Gear, surely you'd expect that, right? I mean, it looks like basically it's Snowtroopers. It's Rebel Snowtroopers or Imperial Snowtroopers. It kind of looks like the gear that they'd be wearing. But the spread for the Snowtroopers, which we can see right here, doesn't have it on. It seems to have grappling hooks. And maybe that's an error. Maybe it's meant to have this instead of grappling hooks, and that's fine. But from what we can tell, it only comes in the commander pack as a one-of. And this is a card that you might want multiple copies of. And how do we get that? Apart from buying a lot of the commander, so we'd have to buy several redundant copies of the commander just to have multiple copies of a generic card? That's a bit of a head scratcher. I'm not sure I'm very happy with this, to be honest. I said before, I've been saying this as we've been seeing slowly the things coming out in Legion. We do not want lots of different kinds of important cards appearing in various expansions. We do not want us, the consumers, to be forced to buy different packs just so we can get competitive builds. Especially with Veers. I mean, what happens if Veers, for example, turns out not to be a competitive commander for whatever reason? Maybe the third commander becomes way more powerful. Maybe Vader is just stupid good and we just continue to use Vader from that point on. We don't know. We don't have an evolved meta in the game yet. We don't have good tournament play results yet. We will soon. But my point is, I hate the idea that perhaps people are going to have to buy this card, which seems really good. And in order to get it, they're going to have to buy redundant copies of a commander they don't use. And this is a big criticism I'm seeing of one segment of the community that plays Star Wars Legion in particular. And that's the segment which is wargamers in general. People that have come over from games like 40k, who come over and look at these card system that we have here in the FFG games and go, what, but you have to get cards from different packs? Why can't we just take the upgrades we want? Surely you can just take whatever upgrades you want, because that's how all the games work. If you guys aren't aware of most other war games, you basically don't use these cards. You just select the build and print it out, and there you go. So the fact that Star Wars Legion maybe, and I'm being very cautious the way I talk about this, it may be going down the route of kind of forcing you to buy different packs, potentially things you don't want. That's very, very concerning to me. We see it a lot in X-Wing, and we don't want to see it in Legion, because these expansions cost more than the expansions in X-Wing. They cost significantly more than the expansions in X-Wing. So I'm a bit disappointed to see this card appear in General Veers. I'm assuming it's going to be the same card that we're seeing in Princess Leia. Again, we don't have all that revealed. But there is that one unrevealed tech card, and I'm going to guess that this is it. If that's something else entirely, then I'm definitely going to be disappointed. What I'm hoping is, I'm hoping that we have some errors in the spreads, and this card will appear in both the Snowtrooper pack and the Fleet Troopers and Leia. If that's the case, and it's a card that appears all the way across the wave, obviously getting copies of it is going to be much easier. We're much less likely to have to buy things that are redundant, and it's not going to be such an issue. But I do want to voice my concerns. I am disappointed to see a card appear by itself as a one-of in a commander pack, which might just become a super, super important card. I hope FFG haven't shot themselves in the foot with this. In any case, guys, that's enough negativity for the video. I'm very, very excited to start some list building with General Veers. We're going to do another video on list building in Wave 2 once everything's been revealed. Talk about the advantages of taking commanders that cost far less than their force-using equivalents. Potentially on the Imperial faction swinging 2 ATSTs. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, like and subscribe, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you guys later.